Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to just a bit of a different video. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil 9 Requiem, coming out very, very soon. Now, with this little video, there's not going to be any gameplay, any kind of moving images, let's say. There might be a few images here and there, just of what I'm talking about, so feel free to put your phone down, feel free to put the headphones in, and do something else, just while you're listening, because it is just going to be about thoughts and whatnot. So, I'm just going to cover things like the story, the two main characters, as far as I know, my experience with the series itself, and then we'll kind of do some closing notes. I've got some bullet points, try and keep things structured and kind of orderly, I guess. I know next to nothing about this game, so it's just going to be just my own thoughts, and not so much predictions. I haven't really thought that much about it. But yes, we're going to get right into things with the story. So the story. Now, the story itself, I don't know the structure. I do know the return to Raccoon City, I believe. Well, obviously, this is after the devastation in 1998, I do believe. So yeah, the story itself, I don't know. I really don't know. So this could be a very short segment. I'm very excited to see what they do. Always am. How are they going to tailor it? What's the interaction between Leon and I believe it's Grace Ashcroft? What's the interaction? How do they kind of know each other? I'll cover a bit more about them in the character section of this video. But yeah, the story itself, I'm very excited to see. I don't know. I doubt it's just going to be centered on Raccoon City. I'm pretty sure with some of the gameplay I did see, Grace was in a hospital, I believe, or maybe like a hotel, and a hotel. And then of course I think she had like her own manor towards in one of the first reveals. I think she was in her manor or something. So yeah, I've no idea what's going to happen if they've gone back there to try and research things, or something that's popped up and it's led them back there. It could be anything, could be all of them. I'm not entirely sure. I'm assuming Leon himself will end up there because something's gone wrong and he's the one sent in. So I'm less kind of, I guess, less foggy about what his role is. More so Grace's, because I know nothing about her. But yeah, just a short little story segment, because basically, you know, TLDR, I know nothing about the story. Now we come to Grace Ashcroft, the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft. Now, I knew nothing about the Ashcrofts. I thought initially they were brand new to this game, which I think Grace is herself. She might have been referenced in previous game, but I didn't realize Alyssa was a character. I'd never heard of her. Now, don't get me wrong, I was never a massive Resident Evil fan in the past, so I didn't know about all the different games. It was a video I watched. I forget who it was by now, but they did a playthrough of Resident Evil Outbreak. They were doing like a challenge run and whatnot, and I was like, oh, it's Alyssa Ashcroft. So I'm like, so she is a character. I was like, oh, that's really cool, because again, I knew nothing about it. I do like it when they tie things in and whatnot. So Grace Ashcroft will be one of the playable characters, one of the two playable characters as far as I am aware. Her gameplay itself is meant to be quite different to Leon's. Hers is meant to be more the stealthy survival horror inventory management kind of deal. From what I know, I think she's an FBI agent, or she's some kind of agent. So she does have like formal training to a degree. We're not on the levels of Leon, but who is, apart from Chris the Chad Redfield. So yeah, next to nothing else known about her. I think she's got some kind of trauma, PTSD stuff. From what I can understand, she seems quite timid. She seems quite unsure. But again, you'll compare it. Well, me personally, I'm comparing her to Leon, because that's the two characters are the ones I have seen interact. They're polar opposites. They're very different. But I think she's going to be a very cool character. I'm very excited to see about her past, her role in everything, how she fits into it, so to speak. Hopefully it's done well. Always hope it's done well. But I'm very excited to see what Capcom do, what they do with everything. So yeah, I'm very optimistic, and I think her gameplay will be the one I struggle with more, because again, it's meant to be the more survival horror, inventory management, probably sneaking around zombies, or infected, however you want to say, kind of picking the right opportunity, whereas with Leon it's probably going to be guns blazing. And even if it's not recommended, that is what I will be doing. I struggle far more with the intense nature of the survival horror stuff, because I'm like, give me a shotgun. Give me a shotgun and hordes of zombies. I am fine. Give me nothing. Give me a pistol with about 5 rounds, and I've got to sneak past about 6 zombies. Ones who don't die in one hit. Oh man, I'm bricking it. And especially if they add in a boss or an unkillable enemy. You're looking at your Mr. X and your Lady Dimitrescu. It's scary stuff. It's scary stuff. I like to be able to kill something. I don't like running away. Now, that's not me being brave. That's me being like, I want to make sure it's dead, so I can go explore in another room and not have it just come up beyond me and start bombing me. But yeah, that is my knowledge on Grace Ashcroft. Again, no real knowledge, but already there was a connection between, obviously, Alyssa Ashcroft, who was in a previous game, which I was like, oh, that's very exciting. I know nothing about her either, but it is exciting. And who is next but Leon Kennedy himself? He needs no introduction, really. You all listening will probably know him better than I, because I came into the series very late, as I will say a bit later on. But Leon Kennedy makes his return. Not been in one since Resident Evil 6, I believe. A mainline one. You know, there was a spin-off Reverse, which I think had him in, but that was the less said about that, the better, really. So let's move on from that. But no, Leon is back. I'm sure everyone is excited. I'm very excited. I'm very partial to a bit of Leon. You know, he looks the part, and I liked his development from like Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil 4 as well. He was very different, but after the Raccoon City outbreak, it made sense, and I did like both of those games. So I'm not sure if you'd call him the poster child. I don't even know who would be the poster child. Because of course, you know, he's in the second game, so he still had all the ones from the first game. So I guess poster child might be Chris Redfield, but no, Leon makes his return. So I'm expecting he, you know, who actually I don't know who he works for now, but I don't know, counter bioterrorism stuff. He could still be with the president for all I know. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm assuming something happens in Raccoon City or whatnot, and then they send Leon in. I don't think he'll just happen to be there. He's being sent in. They might know about Grace, something. I'm assuming something happens to her first. He's sent in to retrieve her. Maybe he's there to retrieve something and happens to meet her, and just like, oh, what are you doing here? I wasn't expecting anyone else apart from mindless zombies. So with Leon, as I said a little bit with Grace's part, the gameplay styles are very different. So Leon's will be very much more combat orientated, similar to your Resident Evil 4, I believe, which I'm very excited for. Give me hordes of enemies. Hordes of enemies. Let me light them up. It seems like there's some interactions with. So I saw him pick up a chainsaw, which looks very fun. It does look very fun indeed. And like I said, I'm far more combat focused. I love just, you know, mowing down hordes of enemies if I can. It doesn't mean it's not going to get intense. Doesn't mean I'm not going to die. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get, you know, overrun. But I feel far more relaxed because I'm like, you know what? I've got a gun in my hands. You know what I mean? And I feel like I can take a hit. And I feel like I'm going to absolutely do a roundhouse kick on you. So I feel far more confident, you know, far more confident. So no, I'm very much looking forward to Leon's story. I saw some worrying stuff that, I don't know, someone, I think, obviously spoiler. It's a very late to say, but spoilers, as far as I know. Someone was saying maybe he's infected or gets infected. Now I know that happened in Resident Evil 4, but fortunately that was sorted out. But I mean, imagine if there was something hidden dormant in there. That would be interesting. I'd say unlikely, because surely it would have happened, you know, something would have happened far earlier on. But again, I haven't played like 6 or anything. I don't know if anything happens in there to hint to it. But I'm assuming it's just a new thing. It could be something completely different. But there was a worrying scene. I'm like, that small part of me is that was like, are we going to lose Leon Kennedy in this game? I tell you what, that would make the game memorable, wouldn't it? The game that killed off Leon Kennedy. Oh, mate, that would be mental. I think as long as they handle things well, that's the thing. As long as they handle things well, that's all you can ask for. Some of the biggest impacts in things is when characters die. Slight tangent, but, you know, if I think of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, when Boromir dies, it's a big impact. Would I love him to have been alive? Absolutely, but it obviously would not have had the same impact if he'd have survived. So they've just got to handle it well at the end of the day. But I'm not even saying that's going to happen. It's just, you know, everyone's got their theories. Everyone's got their thoughts. I'm doing a thought video, so I've got my own thoughts Not a lot, granted, but I have some. But yeah, that's all I know about Leon, really. Again, I don't know if Leon and Grace know each other from before, if Leon knew Alyssa, and they have that kind of like, oh, I knew your mother, she was fit. And then Grace like, what? But, I don't know. But again, like Grace's side, very excited to see his side of the story. So a little section I added in as I was recording is the big bad. I do not know who the big bad is, what the big bad is. I've seen a couple of very scary looking enemies. You got some mutant woman looking thing, whether it is or isn't. I think that's, so far it's been shown in Grace's part. So I'm like, is this some kind of hallucination? Is this some kind of dream sequence? Is this real? Because I'm like, this is a grotesque, weird looking thing. I'm like, it's massive. I'm like, how is this thing moving around? Terrifies me, but I know nothing about that. On Leon's side, a big old baby. They're bringing the babies back. It wasn't enough to do a fetus in Resident Evil 8. Wasn't enough to do that. No, we got a fat baby walking around doing stuff. Can't wait to blow that thing up. But yeah, I wouldn't call those the big bads. They're the female-looking enemy on Grace's side seems to be I don't even know what you call him, but the Mr. X, Lady Dimitrescu. It seems like that kind of unkillable enemy. I mean, whether you can kill it, but just on Grace's side, you just don't have the resources to. That's what I'm expecting that one to be. Big baby on Leon's side. Looks like you can get rid of it. But I don't know the overarching bad guy. I'm assuming a scientist trying to maybe, I don't know, because it was a great idea the first time, trying to like salvage what was going on from 1998's outbreak. But then thinking that, is Requiem set in modern day, as in 2025, 2026? Is it set then? Because if so, that's a long time after the outbreak. That's a long time. That's getting close to 30 years. I know, because, I was born in 98, so I can do that math right there. But, no idea. Maybe things have been released or leaked. I've not seen them personally, which is quite nice, because I will be going in very, very much blind. Which is, again, it's exciting. I want to be as blind as possible. I see videos pop up of, like, what they're expecting, changes and whatnot, and I'm like, I don't really want to know. So, part of me does, because I want to make sure the purchase is worth it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to want to record it. So even if I don't enjoy it, or I think it's a bad game, I will be playing it because I want the content. I do want to experience it, but I always like to have like more informed decisions. But I want to be as blind as possible. I want to explore everything with the rest of you, anyone who is willing to watch. So yeah, big bad wise, no idea. I can't even hazard a guess. It could be a brand new character, it could be a returning character. I'm not sure if anything's been said about Wesker coming back actually, because that could be interesting. But has Wesker interacted that much with Leon, if at all? That's more of a Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine thing, I think. Going from the first game and like 5 and whatnot. But yeah, no idea who the overarching big bad is. Who as I'd call them. Only a few enemies, and even then, some of the more standard enemies. From I did watch one video by Gamerangs. I think it was some like new, basically just top 10 things, like maybe new things. And it seems like they obviously you still got your zombies and whatnot, but it seemed like they still retained a bit of their old self, because I think they're in a hotel and there was some going for the light switch, just turning it on and off, not doing a great job. But there's something from before that, like, hey, I was the hall boy or something, flicking switches on. There was a lass, I think she was rather vigorously cleaning a window or a mirror or something. So it's like, it's probably one of the maids, but she's doing it rather vigorously. So that's kind of interesting. They got something in the back there, because of course before it's just like, there's some food, let me eat it. So now I'd assume a different strain of a virus. Maybe someone's doing experiments. I mean, they're always doing experiments. But, whole new virus. But then it's a case of, where did this virus come from? we're almost to the end. We're almost to the end. So my experience with the series in general. So the very first Resident Evil game I played was Resident Evil 8. Very, very late to the series. That's the 8th mainline game. And then you had all the spin-offs. You had Outbreak, you had like Raccoon City, you had Revelations even. So that was the very first one I played. But I was never a Resi fan. I'm not a massive horror fan in general. I'm not ashamed to admit, they scare me. People say, why does it scare you? I'm like, well, funnily enough, it's a horror game. It's a horror film. You know, whatever the media is. It's meant to be scary. I'm not ashamed to admit, it scares me. But with Resident Evil 8, the trailers for that, it was shown more lichens and vampire stuff. Now, that really interested me. I can deal with that. So, and I did enjoy Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. I did enjoy it. Obviously, that was like it was the second one to Resident Evil 7. Haven't played 7, but I don't really like that style of gameplay either. That was going back to the roots. The thing is that there were two different people. Some more like the traditional, you know, inventory management, more puzzle based. Now I like puzzles, but I don't like being like low on resources kind of thing. And obviously, it's very atmospheric. It does what it does really good. A lot of people liked it. It was that kind of almost reboot of the series after Resident Evil 6, because 6 was very divisive from what I understand. I think kind of going back now, people are like, you know, it's not that bad. It's not the best, but it's good points, like anything should. But 7 was very different, but not my kind of game. I'm not sure if I'll ever play it. It's not my kind of one. Village, on the other hand, far more gun focus, far more, I guess, combat orientated, which I loved. Except for the one section in House Beneviento, I think. Oh no. That scared me, man. Oh, because I was not expecting. I was getting up to creepy house, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get into the creepy part. I had my shotgun out in my hands. I was like, okay, here we go. I went up. What happens? You fade to black, I think. You wake up. I've got nothing. I was bricking it. I've never been so quiet. Oh, my heart was racing. Absolutely racing. Scared the life out of me, that entire section. Everything else fine. Blasted all the way. Lovely stuff, that section. Oh, scared the life out of me. Absolutely scared the life out of me. Like I said, I've never been so quiet. I barely breathed. I was so focused. I had to play one-handed because I had my other hand up in front of my eyes. Like, I can't watch. It's too scary. So that was my first experience. Then I played the Resident Evil 2 remake. That was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It took me a while to do it because I initially played it. I stopped quite quickly. Not necessarily because I was bored or anything, but other things pop up, like getting scared. But then I finally did complete it, and it was fantastic. 'Cause it looks amazing as well. I didn't have any nostalgia to the original, so I it wasn't that kind of thing. But it was really good. It was really good. Very much enjoyed it. Like I said, it just looked amazing. It really holds up. And then the most recent one I played was the Resident Evil 4 remake. That was fantastic. Again, I didn't play the original. Oh, but the remake was fantastic. I mean, the gunplay was so nice, so smooth, fluid. We had Leon being even more of a badass because he's a bit more hardened. And yeah, it was just a really good game. I liked the difference of they weren't your traditional zombies; they were more infected. They were infected with this parasite, so they were very different. And I liked the set kind of locations. You had the village, castle. Castle's very cool. I'm all about the medieval stuff. You see my name, it makes sense. But yeah, that's my experience with the series. Not played many of them, not in comparison to how many games are out. But I know a bit about Leon, and that's about it, really. And I did like Ethan Winter's story. I did quite like that whole story. But yeah, so that's my experience with the series. And I'm not a veteran by any means. I'm not an OG. I think it would be cool to check some of them off though, to start playing some of the older ones. Part of me is interested in some of the first Resident Evil. I'll probably like the more remake of it and whatnot. It would be interesting to do the whole inventory management, more really got to pick your battles and what you kill, run past. Part of me doesn't like it because again I like to kill everything. I like to just make sure everything's clear. But they're not that type of a game, are they? So yes, not experienced at all, but very much excited for the new one. Here we go, my closing notes. So, Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Something I am very excited for. I will be playing as soon as I can. I should be getting it on the Friday on release, but I won't be playing it till the Saturday because I have work on the Friday. So I'm going to start fresh on the Saturday, get a video sorted right away and just get it uploaded. anyone wants to come round and watch, I say come round like you come around my house. If anyone wants to kind of tune in when it's uploaded and watch, you're more than welcome to. I will enjoy it. It'd be great. I'm hoping it will do something to bolster some views for the channel. A very selfish reason, maybe definitely, but it is my hope. But at the end of the day, I want to play it anyway, so why not try and share it with everyone else? You know, I hope we get some interaction going, get in their comments, and just have a chat. Just chill. Just chill while you watch it. Mate, this one you probably more want to watch it because it'll be a brand new game. Maybe you don't, though. Lots of things I'm like, you know what, just listen to my voice. Just listen to me chat. I'll try and explain everything as it's going along. Just put the phone down. Put whatever you've got down. I do that quite a lot. I'll have a video on, and I'll just put the phone down. I'll be washing up and just listen to it. Maybe glance over every now and then. But a lot of things you can get from context of someone's voice. So you want to tune in. I'll be very grateful. Very grateful. But that's pretty much everything, though. So I've gone through everything. Again, I've probably given you no information apart from that I'm going to play the game. No new information, nothing like that. But hopefully I made that clear at the beginning. It's, you know, I don't do that much research in general. I've barely thought about it, apart from I'm ticking down to like, oh, it's, you know, it's just under a week away. But no, hopefully I will see many of you there. Hopefully some new faces as well. But that is where I will leave things. So yes, just under a week away, or basically a week away today, and I should be playing Resident Evil 9 Requiem.